is nothing as trustworthy as the ordinary mind of the ordinary man.
So why is voter participation so low? Why are young people refusing to vote? Approximately 21 million citizens under the age of 30 did not vote in 2008. If younger citizens had voted at the same rate as those aged 30 and over, 7 million more people would have cast ballots in the election. As of November 2008, fewer than half, 49%, of the 37 million 18-year-old citizens were registered to vote, a rate 22 points lower than the general population.
That can be named. The tigers waiting to be tamed, singing.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 18.
Were you 18 during the last election?
I was.
Did you vote?
I did not.
Can you explain to me why you didn't vote?
Yes, so I wanted to vote, but I was not registered at the time to vote. I did not realize that you had to register 30 days before you could vote in order to vote. I thought you could register the week before.
So are you going to vote?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's important to vote?
Yeah, very important. It's your civic duty.
It's your civic duty. Do you think there's an issue where young people don't vote?
Yeah, it's a big issue. A lot of young people, I think they just forget to vote or they aren't sure of the process how.
Okay.
I guess I'll figure that out when I come to that bridge.
Okay. And why do you think it's important that young people become involved in politics or vote?
Because young people, old people vote a lot more than young people, so a lot of times those in office don't reflect the entirety of the voting demographic.
Yeah.
Young people need to get their thoughts expressed more in the government. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Election, yes. Okay. Do you think it's important to vote? Why are you voting?
I think it's important to vote, just, to have your say in the government, but if you're someone who doesn't want to have a say in government, then I don't think you should vote just because other people vote. If you don't care what's happening in the government, then why should you have a say in it?
Did you vote in the last election?
I did.
Why did you choose to vote in the last election?
I'm a government teacher and I believe voting is important.
Okay, do you think it's important for young people to vote?
I think it's very important.
Do you think there's an issue with young people not voting, and why do you think this issue occurs? Do you think there is one, or?
I think there's a huge issue with young people not voting. Young people are the least likely demographic to vote. They also are less likely to get registered and get involved in politics. Why do I think that is? Well, one, I think a lot of young people don't understand the political system. They don't understand how politics affects them, and they don't necessarily know how to get involved.
Okay, do you think it's more important to vote in a general election or a primary, or?
In general, I think, start with a general election, and then as you become more educated on the issues, and that's important, you start voting in primaries as well.
What do you think about people that aren't educated, maybe a younger person who hasn't been educated in politics, voting?
I think it's important that everybody vote, and I think it's important that they become educated. So if you're not educated, you still need to exercise your civic duty and vote, and become educated on the issues.
Awesome.
Next, I'm going to take you through the voting process, how an idea becomes a campaign, becomes a candidate, and finally becomes an elected official.
Steve Harsman.
And what is your position?
I'm the Deputy Director of Montgomery County Board of Elections.
Okay, so what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, our days are usually dictated by if we're in an election cycle or not. A lot of people believe we only work 2 days a year. In fact, it's just the opposite. Here in Montgomery County, we have 26 full-time employees, and we handle all the registrations for the almost 400,000 registered voters in Montgomery County. There's a lot of transactions of people moving from one place to another. They have to update their information. All the candidates have to fill out their petitions to gain access to the ballot. All the school districts and different communities around the Montgomery County have to file their issue to be placed on the ballot. So it's quite the big process that a lot of people don't understand with elections. There's a lot that goes into it.
Okay. So did you vote in the last election?
I did. I try to vote in every election. Being an election official, I believe in participation, and we're prepared to vote 100%, and I want to make sure I do my part as well.
So you think it's very important to vote?
Without question. I mean, it's one of those rights as a U.S. citizen that I think everybody should exercise, and unfortunately people take for granted, and voter apathy exists, and we really need to encourage people to vote more.
Have you noticed a lack in participation of demographic of young people?
It depends on the issue. Presidential elections, there's more youth voting in those type of elections than the local municipal elections. And unfortunately, there's a myth with that as well in terms of your local representation has more impact on your daily lives than the national, but more people want to vote on the national elections.
All right. So what is your name and what is your position here?
Well, my name is Beverly King, and I'm a supervisor at the Montgomery County Board of Elections.
Okay, so did you vote in the last election?
Yes, I did, which was the general election in 2014.
Do you think it's important to vote?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's also your civic responsibility to vote.
So have you noticed here at the Board of Elections that there's an issue with young people voting, not as many voting in elections?
Oh, definitely. I think that more seniors vote, but many of the younger people do not understand the electoral process, nor do they appreciate the right to vote.
Yeah. So you think the reason they're not voting is because they don't understand the process is a big part of it?
Definitely.
My name is Jan Kelly, and I'm the director at Montgomery County Board of Elections.
Okay, so what are we going to do today?
Today I'm going to take you on a tour of our facilities. Keep in mind these are our new facilities, and we're located down here through the summer until our newer facilities are upstairs, and this is where we are going to be voting people in the next election and the presidential election coming in 2016, which we're really excited for.
All right, let's go.
Thanks. Great. This is right now, a lot of people are at lunch, so this is a great time to showcase our offices. This is our campaign finance department, where people that are running for office, school board people came in today and wanted to pick up petitions and packets on how to run, what they need to do to file with the Secretary of State's office. So we are the liaison for them in filing their petitions, giving them information, statutory guidelines, as well as the campaign finance laws, so they can comply with them and run a great campaign. We don't campaign for them or give them election campaigning advice, but we give them what the Secretary of State allows us to provide. We also have a finance department here that handles all the finances of our office, which includes ordering all of our office supplies, all of our election supplies, handling payroll, handling questions for that the deputy and director and the director might ask of them, and they pretty much handle a lot of details in the office. This is a temporary area we have set up right now for voters that want to come in that are running for office, which we just talked about. They can come into our public portals and check to see if the people that have signed their petitions meet the qualifications necessary for their petitions to be approved by our 4-member board. Our 4-member board is comprised of 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats who directly report to the Secretary of State and actually control all of the operations of Montgomery County Board of Elections, except for day-to-day operations and personnel issues. In this area, this was where we had our early in-person absentee voting, which starts 28 days before an election and ran through May 4th, 2015 at 2 p.m.
Okay.
These are our voting carols, where you can vote in the privacy of an area here at the Board of Elections. Or remember, people can always vote by mail now in the privacy of their own kitchen, or they can go to their polling locations on Election Day. So we have lots of different opportunities for our constituency and our voters to vote how they feel most comfortable. And they have 28 days now to vote, 24 hours around the clock at home or during our extended hours here at the Board of Elections. This is just some of the equipment that we have that we're going to be moving up to our new locations. You can see we have some larger equipment which we're currently looking to replace to provide the citizens better service by us being able to process the incoming ballots. During a presidential election, sometimes we get up to 30,000 incoming mail pieces that we have to open, sort, and then send to the voter their blank ballot and then receive that back. You can imagine how long it takes and the manpower that's necessary to complete that process. So we are hoping to automate it, and you'll be able to track your ballot better. We'll be able to track your ballot better and also do better signature verification. These are some of our employees right now. They are doing what we call our teardown process, which is after the election, which it's not just election day. I think Mr. Horstman advised that we work hard many, many days outside of the election. In fact, there's never a day that I come to work where it's anything but different, fascinating, and busy. You'll see Mr. Horstman directing our employees as to where to put materials, and this is our new warehouse where we store all of our voting equipment, and we also store our voting machines and tear down the elections on this side. Been here how many years?
Hi, Doug.
4 years now. 4 years, and he collects 4-leaf clovers. He does. How many have you collected?
Over 5,000.
Yeah, and he hands them out to us. So we have great employees here that have been with us a long time, are dedicated, and really this is the behind-the-scenes work that goes on the days after the election. Our employees dress down. We ask them to wear comfortable clothing because they're digging through trash bins and collecting all of the election material that's necessary for the next election. So Willis Blackshear has been with us. He's one of our newer employees, and he works in election ops. And right now he is, Willis, do you want to tell her what you're doing?
We got pictures up here, we have pictures down here, which makes it easier for the poll worker to, at the end of the day, to put all the stuff back.
Okay, and so you're organizing this box, which you send out to the poll workers and they send back to you.
Yeah, so basically at the end of the day, some of them look like this. After a long day, some of them just throw stuff around, and
okay,
so we have to reorganize it.
Okay. A lot of people think, you work at the Board of Elections, you're sitting at a desk all day. So not true.
So after seeing the logistics of voting, you may be wondering, how can I participate? The first step is registering to vote. In order to register to vote, you must pick up a voter registration form. Voter registration forms can be found in high schools, at libraries, or on the Montgomery County Board of Elections website. Next, one needs to become informed. They need to be able to make strong opinions on whether and on who to vote for and what policies they agree with. One can do this by reading newspapers, books, or even just getting on your computer. Finally, you must get out to the polls on election day and vote. This is the most important step in the process. We live in a country with freedoms like no other. In order to protect these freedoms, we must practice our civic duty and vote.